Hello and welcome to the Serpico video walkthrough of the Top Pages report. Today I'm going to run through a usage case for the Top Pages report. Say for example you're in charge of developing content ideas or recommendations for a client. How do you decide what to write about? How do you know it will get traction? With the Top Pages report you're actually able to gain a good bit of insight into both these questions before you even start developing the content. Before we do anything though, we should run through a list of prerequisites to make sure everything's in place. For this example, I'm going to be using the T-Mobile campaign I have set up. Underneath this campaign, I have two projects set up. For this demonstration, I'm going to be using the homepage project, the default project created by Serpico that's tied to the root domain. Since we're going to be running a Top Pages report, a report that looks at all the content and URLs within a website, we want to use the root domain project to make sure that all that content is available to us. Once you have the home page selected and are in the project dashboard, it's time to check to make sure you have competitors in place. You do this by navigating the sidebar under Project Tools to Competitor Management. As you can see, we already have 3 competitors tracked underneath this project. All our prerequisites are in place and we're ready to run our report. We navigate back to the project dashboard by selecting the project name in the breadcrumbs. Once back on the project dashboard, we want to make a few small configurations to the backlink index used to generate our report. We do this by navigating in the sidebar to these 2 toggles. One controls backlink index and one controls report scope. The first toggle, backlink index, allows us to switch between the fresh and a historic index. The fresh index reports all URLs discovered within the last 30 days. The historic index reports all URLs discovered in all time. Since we want to report on content with longevity and not just content that's popular right now, we're going to want to switch the historic index. We're also going to want to switch the scope of the project. Since Serpico ties projects to individual URLs, the reports are tied to individual URLs. You can break this dependence by switching the toggle under report scope to root domain. Since our backlink index is now properly configured, we're going to want to run our report. You access the Top Pages report by navigating under Backlink Insight to Top Pages. Once you've selected Top Pages, you'll see the standard output of a Top Pages report. One column with domain, one column with page or individual URL, one column with backlink number, one column with referring domain number, and one column with backlink to referring domain ratio. Since we want to see the content that our competitors are creating so we know what to create ourselves, we want to make sure that we're looking at just our competitors' pages. You can make this configuration to your report by navigating to the top of the report and selecting competition. Now we want to start analyzing the individual URLs themselves. As you can see, the first few listings are all root domains and home pages. The reason for this is that root domains and home pages are the most commonly linked to assets within a website. As you start to scroll down further in this report though, you'll see content and internal pages. Here for example, you see a page about the Motorola Droid. Here's another about the iPhone. Here's yet another about the Evo 4G. On first glance, I would recommend developing content out about specific phones, especially popular phones such as the iPhone. This appears to be quite popular content. The Top Pages report can actually give you insight even further though, as with multi-dimensional reporting, reports selected by navigating to the little magnifying glass on the side, you're able to see all the links pointed at that individual URL. All these links are great linking resources once you have that content developed. This concludes our walkthrough of the Top Pages report. Thank you for tuning in.